Okay, good morning traders and welcome to the All Markets webinar here at Bookmap. I'll be your host. I'm Bruce and we do this webinar every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. I'll be your host. And our intent here is to go over order flow so that you can understand how to integrate this into whatever trading method that you utilize. And we can cover any other trading method as well. Just let us know. We'll look at any instrument that you want to look at and cover it as well. All right, so general disclosure, all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, good morning, everybody. Let's jump in and get started here. We're looking at the S&P E-mini. I don't have any trades to go over with you this morning. I was looking at a very specific time here this morning, but it is worthy to cover this, I feel. Let me take point of control off here. Hold on, and then also take off the VWAP. Just looking at the S&P E-mini here this morning, just pre-market here. Good morning, Vinny. Welcome. We're kind of looking for a potential, reversal in here. We see, the sellers moving price lower. We have an inverted flag pattern here in effect here. Not a whole lot of volume on the sell side. See, this would negate that pattern. We don't see the volume, right? So let me bring up the pen tool here. And so I stayed away from a lot of stuff this morning. This volume in here. Whoa, hold on. All right. So this volume in here. Look at it down here. It's not a whole lot of selling. All right, in fact, there's quite a bit of buying up in here, and there's quite a bit of buying in here. One of the first things we look for in this kind of flag pattern is we're looking for strong, aggressive buying that is moving price away from an area. Now, here's our little kind of consolidation area here, and this is the move away from it. Consolidates here and it moves away from it again. Okay, so not bad on the second leg here. You can see the volume starting to pick up, right? So not bad. It's a little bit better. It's just still not that good though. All right, so now we get down to this certain point here, and then I saw this volume come in here. And now this is right before the cash open. And there's always a question about, do you really want to be involved in the market during that time? Regardless of that, let's just take a look at this pattern in here. Okay, so what do we have in here? And we're just talking about some very. I just want to go over these quick setups and trading activity first before we get into some of the live order flow here. But that's what we're here for, is the live order flow. As you guys know, we're adding this trade management sector or content in here as well to try to really help out understanding how to manage and enter and exit your trade positions as well. So this is valid then. So nice strong move in here. And I was looking at this. Well, here's our strong volume here and here. No question. And look at the pullback in here. Now, in our checklist for a flag pattern, okay, this is from the book. If we go to bookmap.com and you go to the education here and you go to strategies and setups here, okay, this is the flag pattern we're looking for. Right, consolidation, strong impulse move, pullback, followed by another strong impulse move, and a bunch of different things that we're looking for in the setup in here. Okay, so we can even show you the checklist here. Yeah. So we see absorption in futures, equities, and right. So here's our checklist here. that we're looking for. And we also have it here in the one of the add-ons we have in here, setups checklist, which is fantastic. We have this new tool in here that will allow you to view your setup and to be able to score it and offer you the ability to stay into this trade or not, or is it doing what you want. And let's just go through it in here. Do we have, for example, the identifying the trap traders and developing scenarios in here? Yeah, we do. We have a setup in there, or we have this feature in here, and we can score it in here as well. Right? So we're looking backwards in here, going through and understanding this data in here to give us insight to the potential for the move forward. Right? So let's see here. Do I have my volume is okay? Right? Everything should be all right on my end. It looks okay. Audio is a mess. Audio good. Okay, I don't know who to believe in here. I believe you guys can hear me fine over on YouTube. Is that correct? AV fine here. Okay, thanks, Rob. Anyway, this is you can consider using this, but like we're just going to get into this flag pattern in here and why I shied away from it. That is valuable in itself. Okay, take your best trades. Don't let the market come to you. Think about it again, like you're a hunter out there. You're letting the prey come to you, and then you're going to take a good shot at it, right? And this was not it. It just wasn't it. So I'm looking at it thinking, wow, look at this nice little pop here. Strong buy volume, low volume pullback. I don't see a lot of sellers in here, but just do we have all the pieces here? And we don't. Here's why. Because we see the steep move. Everything looks good there. Super steep move. We have our trapped volume. We're developing our scenarios. Do we have a measured move? Well, this liquidity looks beautiful in here for a measured move. Just looking at it very briefly, this move here would be somewhat equal to that move there. That looks pretty good. We can we also look to see if it's absorbed in this area. I do see some absorption in here, so we're off to a good start here. Minor pullback, that looks also good. Low volume and bidding liquidity higher up here. Do we have that? No, don't. And that's why I stayed away from this here. Okay, it was the last one here that kept me out of this from taking a position. Also we also have the market open, cash open, but the minor pullback is good. Okay, low volume, that's great too, but we don't have liquidity bidding up underneath here. In fact, we see more here on the offer at a little lower area in here, and it's just not enough to pull a trigger in here. Okay, it's very easy for sellers to come right back in and whip it right back down to here or even down below here. Therefore, I passed on this. Okay, so I just want to show you guys, and this is what ended up happening here. Okay, so it did come all the way back down. Well, it didn't come back down to the bottom of the range here. Okay, but then the cash open, then there's a beautiful, beautiful move to the upside here. But this in here, just make sure you have the pieces, and we didn't. Okay, therefore, we look for something better. All right, so I hope that resonates with you guys. I hope it makes sense in here because we're putting on risk, and we don't want to put on unnecessary risk. Okay, so anyway, that was my decisions, and that was the kind of trading activity that I had here for today. All right, good morning, everybody over in YouTube land. All right, let's get to the live market here and see what's going on. Let me get rid of clear all our drawings. So far, like some back and forth in here, quite a bit. High liquidity trading up here. Now, we're let's take a look at our bigger picture in here, because we're not really seeing too much right now. In fact, looks like we're going to get some sellers. Well, we're already at this swing here. Let's see if the sellers can trade back down to this 48.88 level here, down at the swing low here. Anyway, just kind of looking for that. Let's look at our bigger picture here, because we need to go over this. This is really important for today. Friday, we had a big breakout. And not only a big breakout, it closed all-time highs, and it closed here. Okay, this is pretty bullish, and you can see it pretty bullish again here today. All right, so we gapped higher, and we can see the 15-minute and the hour here in the center, and the 15-minute on the right, and we can see the move higher, and we're just starting to see some bit of selling coming in now. Okay, so in fact, let's zoom in a little closer here. Okay, I can do. No, that's not it. It's number of bars. First off, 15-minute bars, number of bars. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. All right. So anyway, we can see kind of a little bit of a range starting to kind of develop here. You can see some back and forth in here. Let's jump into Bookmap now and go through a few scenarios here. So, I mean, we're still bullish here. No question about it. We're at all-time highs. We broke out. We gapped up. Yet, though, we want to be kind of careful here. We want to see if we're going to get maybe a gap fill here. And a retest back down to this 88 level, which was that previous 15-minute candle here. Okay, because we can see we opened up here and we're kind of in the middle between that previous 15-minute period here. All right, so here's what we see now in the streaming order flow. Okay, so high liquidity on the offer in these areas in here, starting to have an effect on price. You can see them coming in again. So let's see if we can get a few sellers and hit the bid down into our 90 and then 88 level here. Okay, just looking for a test down to this 90 level right now. Not really seeing too much right now at the moment, to be honest. Yeah, still primary scenario here, let's put it that way, is to not only get to 90 but back down to 88 here. Okay, something like that. Retest this level down here. Okay, now let's put the pieces together in here that help us determine if we're going to go down into those levels. Okay, or if we're going to come back up into the swing here at 93, or back up into 96, or maybe back up to the highs here, and finally maybe test 4,900 up here. Right, so yeah, we're seeing the order flow on the offer here, kind of pressing price or finding aggressors move away from that area. Okay, and see, finding a few buyers now. Okay, at the bottom of the range here at 90. And there's a little more order flow. There's 183 on the offer, and we see the reaction to that. I want to put a poll in here for you guys and see. Do you use the dome? All right, so we'll start this poll here and we'll keep it running for a bit. Yeah, it would be good to get your answer here. right, over in YouTube. And I'll be happy to cover it. This is why I'm asking. Okay, so yeah, let us know. The DOM in Bookmap is the current order book here. Okay, now you can configure Bookmap all sorts of ways in the columns here. In fact, if you right click in here and you go to insert trading DOM or a trading DOM column in here, first off, let's insert a new column. No, that's okay. We'll just go right to trading DOM. You can add in, as you can see, last trade, market depth, orders, or price axis here. Okay, or you can select this one here, add default DOM columns. Let's do that. Okay, you guys can see we've bounced off of this area here, and we'll come back up into 93 here. Looks like it's pretty poised to test up into 96 as well. Okay, so we see a real shift and change down at the bottom of this 90 level here. Okay, I missed it as I was kind of going over this DOM stuff. The volume's starting to be pretty significant in here. And then it's in this little area in here where we start to see it lifted. Whereas previously, they're on the offer, they're pressing it down. We're looking for it to go back down into 88. And then we got a shift and a change in here. And this is really where you could see it change. Look at the liquidity here on the offer, and look at the buyers take it on and trade through it. Okay, now we have a flip in the order book. There's a lot more on the bid than there was previously on the offer, and we're finding aggressors. Okay, so this is the kind of combination of context and events that we always look at for our order flow. Okay, and yeah, just looking for that 96 now, but you know, we might get a bit of a pullback at the moment here. It's pretty dark here on the bid. Maybe it can whip back down to about this 92 level here, okay, before we get back up to 96. All right, just looking at the order flow, looking at these levels in here in the book, okay, and trying to determine what buyers and sellers think about it. All right, so all right, 70% say no so far. Okay, we only got about 10 votes in there though. So guys, let me know, because there's a lot of good things to go over in the DOM, to be honest. I'm going to change this to the default here, and we'll get rid of the buy and the sell here. This is you trade from these areas in here though, or manage your trades in here. Okay. All right. This one as well, and I'm going to get rid of this one. All right. So now we have the DOM here. And just a minute. Okay, yeah, thanks, Dan. Dan added the poll over in Discord as well, and we got 100% on the DOM. Really? All right, Discord guys, like great. I mean, we'll add the DOM Pro tool in here. Okay, I just wanted you guys to also be aware over in Discord and Bookmap Academy, guys, to be aware of this product here. I mean, in the columns, it's really good. This is a really robust DOM here in Bookmap. The beauty of this one within Bookmap columns is it's relatable to the heat map here. Okay, 1-to-1. What this is the same price level all the way across here in the heat map. Okay, that's great, right? Now, if I zoom vertically though, maybe it's not as helpful. Maybe it is. Maybe it gives you some additional insight in here. And look at the DOM down here. You would not see this if you're looking at your DOM levels and you had maybe 10 on the offer and 10 on the bid, right? So to be able to see like the majority of the liquidities down here at this kind of 73 level, right? So maybe it's more helpful for you. I don't know, but anyway, we get questions about this, about understanding or relating this price action here or price levels to the heat map and the market structure here. So now we have it, right? So let's take a look here, and let's look for something here in the dome that might give us some insight. We can also relate it to the heat map in here. So we were looking for a pullback to about this 92 level. Well, we got that and some more. It's come all the way back down, and now it's hit our 88.5 level, that we were looking at previously in here for that potential move. Okay, so anyway, that's where we are. And let's take a look in here, and we're going to kind of relate the heat map to the dome in here. Okay, so now I can see the bid getting a little more active here, down around this 88 level. So that's going to be a pretty key level. Okay, so it's right in this little area here, 88, 87.50. And not seeing much here. Okay, here we go. Now we're starting to trade into it. There we go. Okay, now that's going to be a real nice stop run. Still down here, more at 86, 85. Okay, trading into that liquidity. Now, what we're going to be looking for in here is trading into some of these levels in here, and then maybe adding more on the bid. Okay, now we're starting to see it. Now we're looking for our aggressors. Okay, let's see if we can find some more aggressors in here on the buy side. Okay, so we're looking for market buys to maybe pull this back up, and nothing being. Okay, so we've traded in that high liquidity. Now let's see if we get some buyers in here, and let's see if we can get it lifted up into 80, 89, and 90. Okay, and this would be our target up here, this high liquidity here on the dome. Well, that relates right to the heat map here at 89 as well. Okay, you can see a little bit more coming in here, 88. Okay, so we're kind of still between these areas of high liquidity in here, down at this 90, or I'm sorry, 85 level, and then 88 here. Still waiting and watching. There we go. Now there's the move into that liquidity. Okay, still more down below. Okay, they're still hitting the bid. There they go. They're still hitting the bid. Okay, so let's zoom out here. Okay, we're going to get our gap fill is what it looks like in here. Okay, no, we've come back down below the open here. All right, so now we're looking for some buyers to start to come in around this level in here, right? So they're starting to come in already. Let's see if we get a skew here on the offer, and our buyers come in and trade back up into 88 here, yeah, maybe back up into about 90 or so as well. We see also high liquidity up here at 91. Okay. Well, anyway, guys, I just wanted to show you the Dome in Bookmap here, and I also want to show you the Dome Pro product as well. I know that you like it, Trout and others. Okay. So we're just about at 88 here, looking pretty good. To see they're pulling here at 88, they're adding on the bid here. We're getting our aggressors in here. So we're looking for the aggressors to try to boost this now. And let's see if they can move it back up. We've already made it back up to the swing here, but I'm still looking for a little bit more out of it here, maybe up into about 90 here. Anyway, guys, I mean, we were not looking short in this area in here. We're looking for long. Now we timed this in here with our higher time frame levels. Okay, that would be here, right? So we're looking for a reaction around this level here, around this 84. or so, and then looking to see for buyers to come back in. Okay, and we're looking at the dome in that. We're looking at the liquidity. We're looking at the absorption in some of these areas, and we saw some pretty big moves in here, pretty big book sweeps into these areas here. Okay, and again, still, let's see what we get here. This can be pretty much do or die in here. Right at this level, this is this kind of pivot level we always look at. Okay, and we're going to see if we get a little bit more on the bid or on the offer here. And it's mostly on the bid there, so we're starting to see the move back up, looking for this 87 to trade. That 87 liquidity here. And that was not happening. Wow. Okay, a lot of dome traders over here in Discord, which is great. Okay, majority of people not trading the dome over in YouTube. All right, well, let's open the Dome Pro tool then. Okay, this Dome Pro tool comes with Bookmap Global Plus. It's included. So and also Execution Pro is included. Some really nice tools in both of these. I'm going to show you actually both. And you need to accept the risks, and then you're good to go. And then enable it. All right. So this is a free-floating independent dome, very robust dome. If you guys, you can extend this out here, and you can look at all the different columns that we have in here. You can trade right from it in here. You see the orders by, the bid, the recent transactions here on the bid. Okay, you have your last traded quantity, your recent ask trades, meaning they traded on the ask. It's the aggressors here. It's just worded a little differently. You have the ask here. Note the highlighted areas or darkened areas here on the bid and the offer. It's kind of a simulated heat map bit where you can see the higher liquidity in here you can see the distinction here. So this 210, for example, is much higher than some of the other areas in here. Okay, so yeah, we're looking to see if we can get, and that was that 87 level. We're looking for the buyers to reach that 87 level up here. Okay, and they're just about to trade it now, and maybe they can even get into 88 up here. Okay, and they are. Okay, just a bit more push up into 88. There we go. There's 88. We'll take a look here at the aggressors as well. More on the sell side here, so maybe we're going to get a bit of a pullback here now in the dome or in the price action. So we traded up in these levels here. You can see it in the heat map, and then let's see if we can maybe get a bit of a pullback in here due to these 87, 88 levels transacting. Okay, kind of in the middle of nowhere at the moment. Okay, we do have some nice transactions at this 87.50, 87 and a quarter. They're looking for someone to take it away from that area in here. Okay, so looking for a nice skew here on the bid or the offer that can allow that and try to get a push back up into maybe this 90 level at this point, or maybe we'll see a pull back down into the lower liquidity. Yeah, transaction is starting to build nicely in here though. So You need to see something pull away from that area in here. Okay. Anyway, guys, you have your volume profile here on, this is the sell side, this is the buy side, this is the delta, and this is total, okay, for the session. Right. You also have a notes column in here, and your position in queue too, which is really important. And then these are your order cells where you manage your trade. We may have to go over the Execution Pro another time. If you guys are familiar with this product, it works on anything in here within Bookmap. It's not related to the DOM. However, you can use it with the DOM if you like. Okay. Some really nice tools in here. You know, for partial fills, for example, you can yeah, you can have like your trade control panel here, the order size after the partial fill, resize it. So basically you're partially filled and you want to resize it in here, you check this box in here. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things. This is kind of a you know, a separate topic in itself to go over. But these are some really robust scalping tools. I think you guys should take a look at and play around with if you're interested in it. Okay, we're talking about canceling orders, resizing orders, dealing with partial fills, you know, moving to break even. You can trade off of a 5-second or, you know, 30-second VWAP or whatever it is that you want. There's a lot of really nice features in there. Okay, so it's really made for pretty aggressive traders. All right, guys, we'll look at this liquidity in here in the DOM, and we're going to also look at it in Bookmap, in the heat map. We continue to get our aggressors in here, and we do see them mounting here. Okay, so I'm looking for these aggressors to take it up into these areas of higher liquidity here. Okay, just looking for them, you can see the 226 up here, the 82. Just trading into it now. No, that looks like it's going to be a trap volume actually, and we're going to see a move maybe back down to some of these nodes in here. Anyway, guys, just wanted to cover some of these understanding liquidity. You know, we have the heat map here. The heat map is fantastic. The graphical representation of it, just very easy to see, and also to be able to see in here a composite view of the time and sales, which is these volume dots in here are basically like the time and sales. It's a graphical representation of it. You also have the market structure, okay, which is the best bid and offer. Okay, so if I take off the volume dots and I take off the heat map in here, this is your market structure. Okay, and it's not aggregated data, and that is a benefit. Being able to understand these elements in here about retest into certain areas. You're not going to see that in your footprint chart. Okay, and understand a context in here of not only retest in here, but where the volume is transacting in these areas, and also who's on the offer or on the bid in these areas in here. And that's where Bookmap in this composite view will help tremendously. So let's just add the volume dots in here, for example. Okay, so what do we have in terms of market structure? We can see this back and forth structure in here. Okay, and what do we have in terms of volume content or context in here? All right, well, let's just zoom out just a little bit in here because we can see a little bit more buyers. Sellers take it down to here, get some more buyers, take it back up. Now, not a whole lot though. So it's really kind of back and forth in here right now. Okay, therefore, this is looking more kind of range bound than it is for any sort of direction. Okay, some nice volume kind of trading toward the peak up in here, but we're away from that area and we're trading back down here. Okay, so again, no insight in here. It looks more range bound still here. Okay, so not seeing sellers moving this away from the area. Okay, even this right now, they may come in and sweep the book really hard here. Just not seeing it right now. And now they're starting to pick up a bit. Okay, so all right, well, now let's add the heat map into this context in here. Where's the liquidity? Okay, how does that relate to this composite view of transactions and price structure? And we just traded into high liquidity here, okay, at 94. Right, and you see more on the offer here, and we're still finding some sellers. Now we just found some buyers. Okay, they just traded into that area. Okay, now that was absorbed. Okay, we couldn't trade through it. Okay, so we need more buyers in here, and then we're looking for the move back up into here. And if we can get those buyers up into here, we'd look for a move higher up into 88. Okay, we're not getting that scenario whatsoever. More sellers hitting the bid here. Get a bit of a pullback. And let's see if we get more sellers in here and then hit into 88, 80, or I'm sorry, 82, 81, and 80. Oh, okay, now we found our buyers. It's all over the place. So we found our buyers up into the swing here, this small swing here. And we can see the sellers pretty much sweeping that book lower. Okay, now sellers are starting to take it away from that area. Now look at the offer. Okay, looking for sellers hitting into 80 here. Okay, the book is skewed here, and we're finding some sellers here. So I'm looking for sellers to take it down into 80. Now let's look at our bigger picture in here. Okay, this is the swing here at 82. We're just below it. Now we're going to really look for some volume in here to try to fill that gap in here. Okay, we really need to see a lot of selling volume here. On sellers, hit the bid into 80. Looks pretty good here. And then down, maybe down to 75. Okay, there we go. There's 80. Okay. All right, let's see if we get a bit of a pullback here. Maybe back up to about 82. Let's see. This was actually something, a subject I wanted to bring up. I've wanted to bring up for several weeks now, actually. You know, we're looking for who's moving the market, who's in control, and understanding the context between these three elements in here of the market structure, the volume on that transacts within that market structure, and also the liquidity where people are bidding and offering in the auction. Okay, so here's what I wanted to cover. Now, as we covered earlier about that flag pattern, okay, and it was pre-market, and we shied away from it because we didn't have all the pieces. Okay, so now on this trending move here, what I want to go over is we're not really seeing all the pieces either in some of these moves. Okay, we're getting some pieces of it, of the puzzle, and we have a bit of a bias to the downside in here in this move into 80 here, and then potentially 75 here, right? Now, this is what I wanted to cover was, yeah, we got the move, but understanding price channels or value areas, we can go over. Doesn't have to be within a diagonal here. It can be also in the horizontal in ranges. Okay, I mean, there's all sorts of ranges we can cover, ranges within ranges, etc. Maybe we're getting a range right now, for example. All right. So what I wanted to cover is if we don't see a distinction up here, we would start to look for a distinction in terms of buying, okay, or something really, really positive for us to look for the potential move out of this area here. Okay, we would look for a move back into the range then. Okay, it's the same for the diagonal. Okay, so right now we'd need to see a lot of buying coming in and a book skewed to the bid side, and we're starting to get it right in front of us. Okay, we're getting buyers and we're seeing that skew. Okay, if that is the case, then we look for it to go higher. Okay, 86 or 85, 86, yeah, this kind of 85.5 looks really good here. This is a good little area in this swing here, but the liquidity is up a little higher, right? So now, we had to kind of shift and change. What I want to cover is, like, if you don't see something great here, like right now, I don't see something great. I'm looking for them to pull it back to here, okay, 83.5. Right, and then we come back up here, and do we see something great on the bid up here? Starting to develop. Okay, we're finding aggressors, buyers. Okay, do we have them on the bid though? No, we don't. Now we may get the pop up into 86, right? But we're going to stay away because we're looking for a potential range bound in here, right? More like that. Okay, now it just did it. Okay, so this is, and Rob, this is something I wanted to bring up for you, because you're really studying hard, really looking hard for something distinctive in these areas here. And if you don't get it, look for these pullbacks into some sort of kind of value area, and then look again to see what might unfold. Okay, and to see this pullback here is, we're kind of looking for it because we didn't have a strong bid. Okay, now are we getting the buyers up in these areas in here? Not yet. Look at the offer. So looking for the sellers to still hit bottom of this little range, and maybe they can even get it below it and trade back down to here, 83. Okay, and then maybe we'll get down into 83 and have it not accept and come back up into the range, and then finally get up to 86. So it would be something like this here. The look would be in here, we'd get back down into 83, okay? And then it rejects here, comes back up into the range, and then we get the move back up. All right, so it's just because we don't see something really great in here right now. Right now, is it tradable? I mean, yeah, you can develop trading strategies around it. It's just, I would, yeah, I mean, you could trade it. Just make sure that you've really looked at it, you've studied that, you're looking for it, you're really managing your risk well, because it would be better to look and wait for something that is more likely where it's actionable. You're looking for something, it comes to you and presents itself as a really good setup, something you know, okay? Otherwise, you just get this range-bound type of stuff in here. Now, you can make the case, and this is where I say you need to go back and you need to back test it. If you don't get something that you're looking for, it could be a good range-bound opportunity, right? So you'll see it again and again, that we've been chopping around in this range in here. And then something will break. Okay, so we got buyers that just peaked above this little area in here. How good does it look? Okay, this isn't bad here. Okay, seeing a move back to it makes sense, because this doesn't look so great up here. And look at the offer up in here, and look at the bid. The bid's down here, right? So to see sellers come in and trade it back down to here is not out of the question at all. Okay? Maybe even dip a little lower, hit some stops down here into liquidity here, where buyers will trade it back up into the range again. Okay? And Rob, is this making sense? I just wanted to mention this to you, because like I've seen some of the videos that you're going through for the Bookmap Academy and the content you're making, and you're really looking hard for something, and you're not seeing it. Well, that's fine. That's fine. So if you're not seeing it, though, the opposite opens up, that it's possible to look for some sort of like range bound or mean reversion type of activity in very small ranges. Now it makes sense too. Like, this is the risk that you take when you take those range type of trades, though, is exactly this right here. Larger player came in and swept the order book. Okay, and there's going to be a big stop run here. I've got CVD on here. Let me get rid of that. All right, so they just swept the book, right? They just came in and hit the bid hard. And they're also getting their icebergs filled in here as well at the same moment. Some icebergs, someone's icebergs. Okay, and that's the risk that you're going to take. So yeah, and then when you see something more distinctive, then you can look for your flag pattern or whatever it might be. So yeah, there you go. Crash F16 has a half a gap fill. Okay, so let's look at our bigger picture again. We're at half a gap fill in here, and we're back up into this previous candle range up here in here. Now, I don't know what I think about. Kind of cringe to say that. I don't like looking at intraday candles and saying that they're significant in a lot of ways. Who cares about the previous 15-minute area? This is what matters. This is where we opened up. We've dipped below it. Have we accepted below this area in here is really important. And so far, so good. So we've had a half a gap fill. Well, if we get more sellers in here, then we can get a full gap fill. Caesar is looking at Apple and Microsoft. Yeah, okay. But we'll take a look at that in just a minute. So anyway, Rob, I'm trying to make a distinction in here, and if you don't see something really good, then it's not actionable. It's not one of the things that you are looking for trading. On the flip side of that, though, it makes sense. If it's not something you are looking for trading, it can probably be a pretty good range bound opportunity. Okay, so you'd look for areas where it rejects, comes back into the middle, maybe to the other side of the range, etc. A lot of trap volume, slowdowns, spring, for example, is also a good one. You can see these moves below certain ranges in here, just like this, and it comes back up and tests the other side of it here. Okay, now let's go through the spring example in here. Okay, so slow down if you're in here. I should probably just turn on the mic for you. The concept though is that you get this move outside of an area, you get stop runs outside of an area, or lots of liquidity getting filled. You come back into the range and to the other side of the range, and then the potential trending move away. Now, one of the things for that to work out is, or what I have found at least, and this is more for slowdown to take a look at, is if you're looking for that to work out up in these areas in here, you would really have to see something good because it is more likely to go with the trend. So this would be counter trend, and that would be kind of a reversal. Right, so if you see those sellers in control and you see maybe the move up above in here, and then you saw like big green dot up in here, and it rejects, and then you see a bunch of red dots starting to come in, that's a beauty right there. You would look for the move to the other side of the range and through it, and to start trending again, because you have this trap set kind of basically, or your exhaustion basically. I mean, your stop run that trades through this area is people exiting, and you see real sellers entering the market again in here. You're looking for that trend continuation, right? And it's a beautiful setup. Really, really nice stuff. Okay, so like here, for example, look at this move outside of this little range right here. Look at the sellers coming in. All right, so yeah, I'm looking for sellers to hit the bid into this 78 level here. Okay, and to continue trending. There's 78. Now continue trending. 75. Okay, 74. All right, now let's double back though and go over what we just covered. We have a range. Okay, how good does it look down here? Well, it's not bad. Well, there we have some volatility in there. Okay, so our 75 level is just hit after this book sweep here. Okay, now how good does it look? Well, it's a little hard to say right now after a couple of big book sweeps like this, one and two at least. Okay, so back up to our diagonal here. All right, and we're going to take a look at this. So I'd be a little careful on it so far. Like a lot of times, this is where that move unfolded here that drove it lower. Okay, so maybe one more kind of attempt by the buyers up in here, and then I'd like to see it kind of peak above here, see some buyers trapped, and then have the sellers come right back in and trade it back down to 75. Yeah, that scenario is not unfolding right now. Instead, we're just not finding enough buyers, and sellers are trickling in here. So we almost got up to this top of this range here. Thanks, Doug. Yeah, answering Caesar's question about Microsoft and Apple and calls. They're buying calls. But see how this is random in here, or we didn't really see much, Rob. So we just kind of, well, yeah, we're looking for it, maybe one more pop and then back. But you can stay out of this stuff in here, right? Again, the risk being this kind of stuff, this kind of activity in here. The order book sweeps, larger player activity, some volatility that just kind of pops in and can randomly, like, take you out. Okay, now we're up to our diagonal again. Okay, and we're above this little range in here. Okay, and let's take a look at this in here. Do we see anything clear in here? Well, we got some aggressors, but we don't have much on the bid. We do have it down here at 77, and that's not bad. But this doesn't look so great either in this move. In fact, if we can get some sellers in here around 79.50, I'd say, I would look for them to retest back down here and maybe the 77 liquidity. So here we go. Let's see if we can get our sellers here now. And let's see if we can get a move back into the range in here. So it would be, somewhere around here, 70. We'd look for the move back down to about 78 or so, 78 and a half. Okay, we're up at 81 and a half at this swing here, and we're still finding buyers. And again, Rob, I mean, like this would be, yeah, we do see the skew in the book here. We saw it. This is just not looking convincing enough. Although we got the move up to here. Okay, back up to 83. I'm looking for a pullback now. Okay, so let's see if we can get sellers to come in right here, 82 or 83, and hit the bid down into about around 80 here. Okay, and then maybe further, maybe down into our the 79 liquidity, or even down to 77. Yeah, let's go take a look at Apple and Microsoft, kind of waiting for this to unfold here. You can see it just kind of selling off a little bit here, our 80 level right now. Hey, Rob, I know I've been focusing on you, but like it just really kind of burned in my mind a bit about what you were mentioning and looking so hard for something to unfold. And a lot of times there's just nothing, and that's fine. You're that hunter, like, sitting up in a tree and just waiting, just waiting. I think we can end this poll over here. All right, majority of you guys by far, 63%, do not use the dome. Okay, I'll give it one more minute here if you guys want to try to, if you want to add anything more in here. All right, we'll close it. And there you go. Here's your results. All right, well, let's take a look back at when we saw this diagonal in here, and we covered this in real time here, and just didn't see much in here. I still don't see it. I don't see it. The aggressors they were able to move it higher in here. We just didn't have much on the bid in here. Now this guy came in at 77, larger player in here, but who cares? I mean, like yeah, it's down at the bottom of the range. It just kind of trickled back on up and traded back up into this liquidity here at 83. Okay, and that's why we're looking for a pullback at that point, because there wasn't really too much in there telling us about this, that the participants in this auction in here weren't that persuasive that we're going higher. Right, so we're looking for our sellers to take it back down. Now, they were able to take it back down to about 80 and a half here. And that's the first stop we were looking for. Right, so now we're back up here again. Okay? And what more do we see in here? Well, again, it's pretty similar. Yeah, we're getting our aggressors in here, the buyers here. But we're not seeing much in the order book in here. So watch this. Watch sellers here at 82 and a half, whip it right back down to about 81 or so. Okay. So I mean that happened before, it happened in real time here before we mentioned it, or just before we mentioned it, but just an understanding of, like, really what's going on in here. What is all of this telling us about where price might go now? Look at the book. Like, it's pretty dark in here. It's just there's liquidity up here at 83 and a half, and most of it down here at 80. And so in fact, here's our double top in here, and this is one of those order flow events we look for. We've covered it for a long time now. Liquidity up here at 83, it transacts. A retest back up here. Okay, liquidity just one tick higher. Okay, and some here at 83 and a half. And then we see some, just a few buyers in here. In fact, they're on the bid, trying to push and trying to find buyers, push it back up into maybe 84, 83 and 3/4. Not enough buyers. Sellers come in, they take these guys on here. So here we have an order flow event. We have buyers that took it on up here, but couldn't trade through it. So we got absorption up here. We have a retest up here, and we don't quite have exhaustion, but we don't have a lot. Okay, we had 3 contracts trade here, whereas one price level below here, just these transactions in here is 195 versus 3 here. So it's essentially absorption followed by exhaustion, followed by sellers hitting into this liquidity and through it, looking for them to take it lower. Okay, and they did. Right, so we got down to about this 80, 81 and a half, and that was the first swing that we're looking for. Okay? I'm surprised they weren't able to take it lower here. We're still finding some buyers in here. And again, we're finding buyers here. Now, what do we have for this potential? Are we going to get this potential breakout here? Okay, well, yeah, we're starting to get our buyers in here. But again, it's pretty dark under here. Okay, so it's not looking high probability. Look at the offer too. So it's not looking too high probability. Okay, bid is looking better now. It's starting to show a little bit more in here. See that underneath here? There we go, even more. All right, so and they're pulling up here. Okay, buyers, you've got an open field here. This guy actually pulled and added a couple ticks lower. So now the question is, do we find those buyers? Yeah, they're starting to auction. All right, so we should get a move up into 95. Okay, makes sense, because we can see a stronger bid now. Okay, and they're a weaker offer, and we're still finding buyers, trade up here. So we're not looking for much right now. We're just looking for the move up into this liquidity. Okay, bid's still here. Okay, and we're finding sellers though too. Okay, it's that our order flow is still holding. Just look at the bid, and we're finding our buyers. Okay, so let's look for that move to 85 here. Right. Well, anyway, and let's go over how this is actionable. Okay. Well, this one, I would say this isn't so actionable, to be honest. You know, we're looking for that move, but there's, you know, see how it's still kind of dark under here. I mean, we are looking for this move into 85, but it's not the best, and you're putting on a lot of risk up here. Bid still here, still finding buyers. Okay, move up to about 85.5 would be pretty good. Maybe we can get up to 88 level, or 89 or 90. Well, let's take a look in here. They're still on the bid. Now they were on the bid here, and sellers took them on. They're still on the bid, and we're still finding buyers. So we're still staying with our theme here. And note how you see that skew in the bid here. And now we just traded in our 85. Okay, but note how that this testing and flashing of liquidity in the order book in here it gives us insight. Okay, now this is being done by other traders and algos, other actors, and we can glean information from that. If we see and start to read the reactions in some of these areas in here, then we can look for, let them test it, you know, let them come in and flash, you know, their high liquidity, and let's see the reaction, and then we can go along with that move. I mean, we don't have hundreds of orders to be able to place in the order book. And this happens all day long. This is the auction process. Okay, so we traded into what, 85.50. Okay, and it's kind of struggling here. And we're finding some sellers here. Okay, but let's still watch this. We're down to the bottom of this little range in here. Okay, and let's take a look at the order book in here. Okay, a little more on the bid in here, and we're finding buyers. Okay, so watch this. Buyers will come in, and they'll trade up to the swing here, 85.25. Okay, we've already traded down to this swing here. There's our 85.25. Now let's see if we get a skew up here now on the bid. We find more buyers. Let's see if they pull on the offer, and we can get up into 87. Okay, so we're watching the order book and the order flow here. And let's see what the reaction is. Okay, here we go. And what do we read? What do we glean from that? There we go. Well, there's someone swept the order book there. That's really hard to judge. And it's a stop run too. Okay, so be really careful now. I mean, we see the move up, but it's a stop run. Okay. Now, if we again we get the same thing though, we're still looking. Now this is not a stop run. Okay, so let's take a look here. Now we're starting to see a little more on the offer up here. See that? Okay, but it's pretty far up. Okay, what about the bid? Well, they're still down here at this 84 level. And let's see if they skew it on the bid in here. They offer more, add more on the bid, and they're not. Okay, but we'll see this kind of testing in here, and we'll see the reaction. How does the market respond to it? Okay, look at the exhaustion up here now. A bunch of times. No, not one transaction up here at 86. Okay, now we got a little bit of transaction. All right, so watch this. Now sellers on the other side take it back down now. Okay, due to this lack of buying in here, this was more about the aggressor. We do have higher liquidity coming in here at 86 and a quarter, but the lack of buying in here, we're finding some sellers in here. We saw some sellers at the bottom of the range in here. We're looking for them to take it lower. Okay, back down to this liquidity at 84. And we came a tick away here, and that's about it. Anyway, guys, I hope this is helpful here, and understanding the auction process, and starting to understand where price might go based off of this. And we also covered in here these range bound trades in a diagonal, in a trend, also in a horizontal. All right, any comments? Any questions over on Discord? Yeah, please hit the thumbs up button. That's what Rob is saying. Give us a like. Subscribe to the channel if you found this helpful. What does pay up mean? Well, pay up usually is like they're going to hit market buy across the spread, meaning that they want in now, no matter what the price is. Okay, typically it means I want it in now, but like with whomever on the best offer, and you're paying up for that. Okay, same with sellers that hit the bid, and they'll transact with the best bid. Okay, they're crossing the spread and paying up for that too. Here's some exhaustion, guys, again, and we're finding sellers down here. Let's see now, what does the order book look like? Okay, so not too great in here. It's, there's liquidity down here, and I see a little bit on the offer. Okay, if we get exhaustion here again, sellers in here and a little bit more on the offer, I'd look for the move back down into 84 and maybe even lower, 83, 82. Okay, we're kind of see how we can understand this process here, even on a bigger picture. Okay, here's our stop run. Here is our exhaustion. Here's our sellers. Again, look at the transactions up in here. I'm finding more. So here's exhaustion again, looking for sellers to hit the bid into 84, and then they may have enough selling pressure trade through 84 and reach down into 83 and 82 at that point. Okay, I mean, they're bidding up here, 83, 84, 83, 82, but we're not finding the buyers right now. right? So I'm really curious to see if we find enough sellers to hit these guys. And the order book here, we'll see a reaction to it. See if they show more on the offer in here. Maybe pull on the bid. And they're not. They're adding more on the bid actually. Anyway, guys, and then let's extrapolate this into the bigger picture, right? So the bigger picture is what we saw at our level down here during the webinar at this 82, right? So look at your swings and look at the previous highs and lows. Look at the bigger picture in terms of open, high, low, and close. And you can see that we were anticipating some sort of reaction around the open here, swinging kind of, and we saw the move back up, and then we saw more sellers starting to come back in. So we're still looking for it to go lower. We almost got a full gap fill in here, and then now we're finding buyers coming back in though. Okay, so we didn't get a full gap. But it doesn't matter if we find the demand in here and we find buyers in here in this bigger picture, or at least intraday, then the next level I would say would be these two little swings up here, which would be our 89 level, 88 and a half level up here, and we're just a few points away from that. But if we can find enough buyers, then we're looking for even higher here. You know, back to all-time highs, basically 95 and maybe above. Okay, the question is, are we finding those buyers? Okay, so you're starting. Look at the buying after we kind of we're looking at the candlestick chart. We're looking for our sellers down here due to the exhaustion, and sellers in here, right in here. Okay, we didn't really have a lot on the offer pushing down. Okay, and then the kind of pulling on the bid in here. Boy, the exhaustion looks really good though, and the aggressors trading down here looks really good. I would still be looking for those aggressors to take it lower. They didn't. We see more came in, popped in at 84. We start to find some buyers where we found a lack of sellers previously here and here, and we're finding buyers here. So now we're going to have to flip and switch and look for some of these other levels to test up in here at that point. Okay, now we're still looking for a strong bid. Okay, and we don't have it yet. Okay, it's starting to add a little bit more in here. Okay, and that brings us to current market, and they're adding a little bit in here. It's really not that strong. Does Trader Map Pro work on 7.5? Yes, Eloise. Yes. It doesn't work for you? Let's do a quick try here. Boy, I tested it. Does not work for you. Okay. All right, let's take a quick look here. Let me get rid of them all to begin with. I'll create one, and we'll add a study filter. Let's do a do not change, order change, and then do not change, or not changed by price or size. That's fine. Yeah, I see what you mean. Well, it's loading. Yeah, there we go. It's working for me, Alois. I don't know. Maybe you'll need to reach out to support. Maybe I think you might need to download a newer version of it. I don't know. I don't think I did, but yeah, working for me. Here's a nice skew in the book in Trader Map Pro. Okay, and now are we finding our buyers? No, not yet, not yet. Okay, so finding sellers, in fact. So yeah, not looking for it to go up right now, even though we see the on the bid in here this kind of 85 and 3/4. Okay, there's a little bit more. See how they test it? See how like the market like throws a little more liquidity and we find some buyers. Okay, great. Now we are looking for buyers to test back up into these levels here at 87, 88. Okay, because we found buyers. You know, the reaction to this liquidity in here. So let's see if they can bid up even a little bit more in here underneath. No, can't. Another rotation. Boy, cumulative volume delta is showing a lot of selling in here. Well, this little range in here. See, Rob, even in here, like you can see these ranges. Like we're not really looking for too much. We saw this pop off of this liquidity in here. Saw a little bit of pulling in here. Not much really, to be honest. Okay, now they're pulling here. Okay, and we found sellers trade into it. Okay, now yeah, that's good. We'd look for maybe a little more on the offer, and then if we can see that and the reaction to it be the sellers, we'd look for the move into this 84 and through it. Right. So anyway, guys, here's what the best thing that we saw today here was just around this 1102. Yeah, around 1102, we saw the book sweep into high liquidity down at the 75 level, and then we were covering the kind of range bound stuff, thinking that well we'll trade back up into this diagonal in here. And then we did see this at 77, this liquidity at a higher level in here. It's pretty far away, but we still got the buyers and we grinded back up higher. Okay, back up to this swing. Again, looking for a reaction up at this swing here. And we did see the pullback. And then this was kind of a hard read in here. It kept grinding and we kept looking for it to go higher. And it did up into our 85 level. It took a long time. We saw a sweep above it, being careful again, because if there's not liquidity on the bid at these higher levels in here, it's very easy for sellers to bring it right back down. Okay, but we can see that it's holding between these areas of high liquidity still. Okay, well, one more thing I just wanted to add on here for you, those of you who like numbers, want to look at the liquidity within the on the heat map, so you can understand that a lot better. We can look at the liquidity marker add-on here. Okay, and there's a few different ways to look at it. We can look at the max levels in here or the liquidity that changes. Okay, so and then note the change. Okay, let's go with the change, in fact. Okay, and then it changed more by 20. And then we can take a look at it here. So here, okay, so here was 110. It changed, dramatically, and we can continue to zoom in and it'll update in here. Okay, so added 22 in here, went from red to dark red. All right, so you can look at these areas in here. Where is that liquidity being added and pulled? You see the minus or plus in here. Okay, the changes in liquidity. I'm sorry, it just looks like just plus. Right? Maybe that offers a little bit more for you to understand numerical values. Okay, and match that with the heat map. Alois, yeah, you're gonna have to reach out to support on that. There's something's a little off then. You're having some other problems also in 7.4. Sounds like some updates is what's needed, but I don't know. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for coming. Let's wrap it up. We'll call it a day here. Oh, I'm sorry, Caesar. I did not look at the Apple and Microsoft for you. Well, we can maybe quickly look at Apple. Wow, nice move up into this high liquidity here in Apple, and a huge pullback though. Okay, so yeah, I'm not really seeing much right now. I mean, we're kind of in between this kind of critical level here around this 194, and this kind of 193 down here. So a buck difference, but some back and forth in there is what I'm seeing at the moment. All right, guys. Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. We'll wrap it up. We'll see you tomorrow. Let me know if there's anything you want to cover in particular. We're trying to go over more and more understanding liquidity so you guys can make some trading decisions off of this as we're getting more and more in the Bookmap Academy. It's free, available to anyone if you want to join. And you just need to have Bookmap, and we'll review your trades and your journaling and give some feedback on your trading as well. Okay, so that's what we're here for. So happy to help you guys out. Right? We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.